And hello there, boys and girls. Welcome to the show that has more listeners and viewers than Richard and Judy now here in the UK. Yes, gang, I think it's official. There's only now about 6,000 people watching Richard and Judy. I feel sorry for them. Does anyone in the UK watch Richard and Judy anymore? Oh dear, they're on this tiny satellite channel. It's a shame, really. They used to present this show sort of mid-morning called This Morning, which was really good. That was on ITV, which is in ITV is in terrible trouble, dears. Terrible trouble. ITV is one of the main TV stations here in the UK. If you're outside and wondering what on earth I'm talking about, was fantastic in the 70s and 80s, and it's all kind of fallen apart, really, and I just find it all very, very sad. But does anyone watch Richard and Judy anymore since they went to that little satellite station? If so, what is it like? Because, as you know, I'm too tight, boys and girls, to subscribe to any satellite channel whatsoever. Yes, I really am the original Mr Freebee. I've got all those lovely free channels, BBC 1, 2, 3, 4, News 24, the Parliament channel. I've got them all, dear. All the free ones. Not a single channel do I subscribe to. It's true. Last week, ITV announced, as you may have heard, they lost, is it 2.7 billion pounds? Just imagine that. 2.7 billion pounds they lost. It's awful. How do you lose so much money? So they've got to make cutbacks all over the place. Poor people are losing their jobs and that sort of thing. And it's just such a shame. It really is. When you switch on the telly now, you know, to be honest, the BBC are wiping the floor now. They are absolutely wiping the floor. And people are often complaining about the licence fee, and we've brought this up a couple of times on the show, and it's about £150 for the year, and for that you get all the BBC channels and what have you. And I'm sorry, but I honestly don't find that there's much rubbish on the BBC. The stuff they make is all reasonably to high quality, in my opinion. I don't know what you think. They're always screaming, oh, why should I pay the licence fee? I don't watch this. I mean, it's a hell of a lot cheaper to watch all those BBC channels than to subscribe to Sky or any of those other ones. These people seem to forget, you know, some of them are paying £45, £50 a month, I think, for their Sky packages, for the top one. I mean, over the year, you're talking £600 there. Why can't they see that? Or maybe they can, I don't know. Are you a BBC person? Because I tell you what, the way ITV's gone, unfortunately, all the advertising has dried up, and this is part of the problem, of course, because it's all spread out all over the place now. We've got the internet, we've got radio, everything. It's all spread out, so they can't get the cash in. And so many times, people have spoken about the BBC and said that they should get rid of the licence fee and take on advertising. I tell you what, if that ever happened, that would be the death of good quality television, I reckon. I mean, it really would. At the moment, of course, the BBC, they have to, I suppose, have accountants who make sure they don't overspend. But they don't, I suppose, with the money coming in from me and you licence fee payers, they don't have to worry so much about how much a programme costs. I'm only guessing here. I'm sure they do have to worry about it, but perhaps not as much. And when you see these fantastic dramas and things they do, and drama television is horrendously expensive to make. It really is. But on ITV, tell me, where do you see programmes like Survivors, Doctor Who, all those? The money just isn't there anymore to make them. It used to be. Used to be fantastic, ITV. Do you remember programmes like Minder? Upstairs, Downstairs, dramas, really good dramas, and it's all drying up. They're even cutting back on some of the stuff they've got at the moment. I think the bill is going from 3 nights a week to one, and some other stuffs like that. An enormous shame. If you've got any comments of that and you're in the UK, what do you think? Don't you think television would decline rapidly if the BBC ever lost their licence fee? I mean, this subject is always talked about by many, many other people, and I wanted to know what you think. Do let me know. The email address to the show, incidentally, welcome along. My name's Chris Reardon. This is United Kingdom Talk, our 3 times a week talk show. The email address to the show, please feel free to join in, is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I really think the BBC should be left alone to do what they do best, and that is make programmes. They've got the money to do it, and it must be one of the basically only channels now in the world that can make really good quality stuff and just keep chucking it out. I've always been a fan of the BBC, you know that. ITV, I was a big fan of them. I like the idea of having the little companies in each town or each area, shall we say. Because ITV used to be made up of 15 separate companies. Little company for each area of the UK. And a few years ago, they all joined up, and it's been an absolute disaster. I'm not saying that if it was left as it was with the 15 separate companies, would that have been any better? Difficult to say, really, isn't it? I suppose in the sort of new media climate, like, for example, this show is new media, isn't it, really? It's not specifically radio, it's new media, it's online, it's on YouTube, it's on Current TV, Google, Blip, and this is all new stuff. And all these little internet things, they take advertising as well, and some of the advertisers are looking towards them, and no longer has ITV the monopoly. So perhaps if it was left alone, it still would have died a death. And it's just such a shame. Any comments? chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, I have dressed up for you today. I have a nice white shirt on and a maroon, is it maroon or burgundy? I've got a burgundy blazer on today. This is actually the blazer that I purchased so that I could do my DJ at a school disco. Remember a couple of Saturdays ago? The only thing is I haven't got a badge. I haven't got a badge for the pocket. Now, I'm wondering... quite honestly, I don't know if I'm going to be able to sew one on or not, but I probably won't. I need. That's what I need. An iron-on badge. Has anyone got a second-hand iron-on badge or knows where I can get one? Then please let me know, or even send it in. I'll give you the postal address in a minute, and I will proudly wear your school badge at my events. Eh? How does that sound? Postal address coming up in a second. So there we are, nice and smart. And I quite like this. I feel very smart in this. It seems to be my perfect size. I don't know what size it is. A 40, I think it is. I'm not a muscly person. I'm really not. So that's that. Now, if you're watching the show on YouTube, you will notice behind me is very bare. All we've got now is the plants, which will probably be gone by the next show, and the mirror ball, as always, revolving faithfully behind me. Everything on the wall is gone. The maps have gone. All your lovely little pictures and things that you've been sending in over a period of time, over a couple of years now, they've all gone. Some of them are over there, will be put back up. Some of them, unfortunately, when they came off the wall, have been a bit damaged, so I probably won't be able to put those up. So I do apologise if your little item doesn't go back up there. But certainly some of them are still okay. The reason is, of course, we are still preparing for the ultimate decoration here in the Mirrorball studio. Now, if you've been watching the show or listening to the show, you'll know I did promise the job to my niece and her boyfriend. The only thing is, those things that were on the wall behind me were held up by cork tiles. A couple of years ago, I think they were on special offer or something. I saw some cork tiles in the DIY shop. And I thought to myself, that would be a very good idea to put those on the wall behind me, and I'll just be able to pin things up as lovely people such as yourself send them in. And of course, that's what I've been doing. Now, unfortunately, when it came to taking them off the wall, they've made a bit of damage. It's a plasterboard wall, and the plasterboard, I think, is covered in paper. It's some sort of wallpaper and then painted over. Well, unfortunately, as the tiles have come off, it's ripped some of the paper. Now, I think my niece and her boyfriend thought it would be just a paint job. Indeed, I did really think it would be just a bit of a paint job, but I think there's a little bit more involved than this. Now, as you know, I hate DIY. I absolutely hate it. In fact, while I was taking off the cork tiles, well, sorry, I've got an itchy nose. I've got an itchy nose because just before I came in, I was just having a bit of a wash and washing my hair for you. You know, I try and look my best. It's hard in my advanced years, but I do try and look my best. And while I was in the mirror, I noticed there was a hair sticking out of my nose. Oh, the job I had getting that out. I've got my fingers there and I'm trying to pull this, and I don't know why, I couldn't get hold of this hair. So in the end, I went and got the tweezers. But even then, the tweezers kept sliding off the hair. It was most annoying. I nearly went down and got the pliers from my toolkit box. But we have got rid of the hair now. I'm pleased to say. We can't be on television, dear, with hair sticking out of her nose. Good, I'll start looking like Joy and Acton. Oh yeah, you know Joy and Acton. She's the lovely elderly lady. I don't know about elderly. What she was mature. That's the word. She's a mature, our most mature listener and viewer now, because she gets the shows on DVD, which I send her. And I met her once. Hair's growing out all over the place. It was like a forest. It really was. She was standing there. She says, "Hello, Chris. I thought I was talking to an old oak tree. I really did. Oh, tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. It's been 3 long years. Do you still want me?" Would you like me to sing that? Not today. There's not enough time. Really isn't. So yes, so the hair has gone from my nose now, but it's left it a little bit itchy. You know when you come on, ladies and men, you know what I mean. You know when you pull a hair out and you and then you start you're like that, like that. And you start sneezing, didn't you? Anyway, it's gone, I'm pleased to say. Back to the decorating. So some of the paper is torn on the wall, and I think it's going to be a little bit too much for them, rather than just a quick paint job. I've still got some more work to do in here. You can't see, but on the wall in front of me are also the lights here. I've got a couple of lights in front of me, so you can see if I turn them off, it's not so good, all right? So I've got a couple of lights in front of me there. There's a cork board there, but that's only nailed up with a couple of nails. And lots of pictures on the wall, and of course nails in the wall itself. So I guess all those have got to come out. There's a few shelves to the right and to the left of me. So still a lot more work to do before I kind of call someone out to do the decorating. But I did think to myself, you know, with the torn paper, I don't know how bad that is, and I'm not quite sure. Will they just try and remove the rest of the paper or what? I don't know. There's an air conditioning unit up there as well, so quite a bit to do. So I rung up my niece yesterday and I said, I know I did promise the job to you, but this is what else there is. Do you think you'll be able to do that? And she said to me, she said, well, look at it and see if you think we can do it. And that's the trouble. I can't. I don't know if they would be able to do it or not. So it might be better just to call someone in professional and get it done, and that'd be the end of it. But I feel a bit guilty now because, of course, I expect they thought they would have had a little bit of money to spend on their house. Mind you, I could still send some anyway, couldn't I? And that's the end of it. All right, so that's that. Yeah, a bit more. I hate doing all this decorating and stuff because this room has never been done, not since I moved here, and that was 1992. My friend Ron was over with his other half a couple of weeks ago. Do you remember I told you? And I'd done him dinner while we were here. And it's the first time he's been here for about 10 years and nothing's changed. Apart from my bedroom, which was painted, and the spare room, which was painted by my nephew and his girlfriend about this time last year. Nothing else has changed in this house. You know when you go to like your granny's house and nothing ever changes, does it? It's a bit like that here. I can't be bothered with it. Some people, they actually make a hobby, don't they, out of decorating and all that. They love doing it. I can't. Hate it. But some people find it therapeutic. They say therapeutic. Huh? I've just realised I'm going to have to take these lights off the wall as well. There's so much more to do. I hate it. Absolutely hate it. I suppose it'd be worth it in the end. I just want it to look nicer for you as well while I'm doing these shows. So that's that. I've bought a new gadget. Look at this. A new gadget, a digital watch. And the trouble I had finding what I wanted, it's a Casio, what is it, G-Shock, which apparently you're able to throw on the floor and all this business. There we are, look at this. Little watch there. Beautiful watch, actually. But I wanted a specific watch. I wanted one with so many alarms. Because there are certain things I have to do during the daytime, and it's important that I don't miss them. So I've got this watch now. Now, first of all, this is the third one, incidentally. Why isn't anything simple? Nothing is simple, is it? First of all, I went into Argos because I looked on the internet, watch with 5 alarms, and sure enough, there was one in there, and Argos was selling it for £68, which was a bit more than I wanted to spend on the watch, to be honest. But I thought, well, if that's the one I want, then fair enough. So I went into Argos and I bought this one. Has it got 5 alarms? So she's looked at it. It says it's got 1 snooze alarm and 4 alarms. So yes, it's got 5 alarms. I said, fine, that's what I'll have then. So I bought that, paid the money, and off I went on my travels. I always cycle into town, of course. I cycled there and back. So I got this watch home and I'm setting it and reading the instruction books. Actually, it didn't take me long at all. I was quite pleased with myself because usually new pieces of technology, I find them a little bit confusing. Do you? It's all very confusing. Let me just do something on here. Just a minute. There we are. Right. Sorry, I just I meant to leave an email up here. That's better. Okay, got that now. There we are. Where was I? Oh, yes. So I managed to set it up. And I'm reading through the book and it says it's got one snooze alarm and 4 one-time alarms. Now, for a one-time alarm, I thought, I wonder what that is. Well, I've soon found out because a couple of days later, of course, I'd set this thing to go off at midnight, midday and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They're the 3 things I have to do each day. And this watch, the next day, sure enough, it went off at 12, 3 and 12. The next day, only went off at 12. So I realised that a one-off alarm on these digital watches is an alarm that you set, it will go off on that setting, and then that's it. I thought, well, that's no good. You know, I need an alarm that goes off at the same time every day. Now, Argos, this is where I got it from, Argos. It's like a catalogue shop. This is the only thing with these places. They're okay, it's all right, but you have to know what you want to buy. Because, quite frankly, the staff are a little bit useless. So they're, no disrespect to them, of course, but I don't suppose they're trained to do anything other than pick up boxes from a shelf and put them on the counter. That's it. Right? So I had another look on the internet and I found another Casio G-Shock, which was £10 dearer, so £78 this one. And I read it, and it said it had 5 daily alarms. Now, when you say daily alarms, what does that mean? I assumed that meant it went off at the same time every day, rather than a one-off alarm, which was the first one I picked up. So I went back down to Argos. I said, hello, sorry to trouble you. I bought this a couple of days ago. It's not got the alarms that I require on it. Could you change it for another one? And I think it's an extra £10 and I'll pay the extra. Oh, yes, no problem at all, sir. Now, Argos are very good with that. They do you a 30-day money-back guarantee. So for whatever reason you don't want the item that you've just purchased, you can get your money back, which is pretty good. When it comes to actually helping you choose something, completely useless. Waste of time asking the girls in there anything. Most of them look like they've just come out of school, I'm afraid. Even the older ladies in there, they don't really know, I don't think, what they're selling. So she got the other watch. I took it home, and that's it. So I started setting it again. Similar instructions to the first one, of course. And I opened the book to find the alarm section, and guess what it said? It definitely said on the computer screen when I checked what other models they had, it said 5 daily alarms. So I've opened up this book, And once again, it says it's got 1 snooze alarm feature and 4 one-off alarms. I thought, well, this is no good. This is the same as the other one. Maybe the instruction book is wrong, or maybe I've got the wrong instruction book, because they're all going to be relatively the same, these little books, I would guess, with just a few differences depending on the model that you've just bought. So I thought, well, I'll give it a go and see if it works. So, of course, I've set this watch again, 12, 3 and 12. Next day, it all went off, 12, 3 and 12. And the next day, it only went off at 12. So I thought, oh, it's the same blooming problem. Took it back again. I said, oh, I'm very sorry. I said, once again, the watch doesn't have the facilities that I require. I've had a look in your catalogue and I can't find anything else. Can you suggest anything? She says, oh, I'll give you your money back. Oh, right, okay, then that's fine, you know. So there's no problem getting your money back from Argos, as long as the item is in the same condition you bought it from, because obviously they sell it again to someone else. So she got the money back, and that was it, and put it down. It's no interest, really, in me as a customer. Just pass me the box and take the money, that's it. I mean, that's it in there. No one, don't get me wrong, no one was rude or anything like that. It's just non-existent service, really, when you require information. So I thought, oh well, let's go into a jeweller's. So I went into a jeweller's, H.Samuel. Now, they've got branches all over the UK, fairly famous they are. And there was actually no one else in the shop at all. There were 2 ladies and a young man, about 25 he was. So I went over to him. I thought, here, no. Yes, sir, how can I help you? I said, I want to buy a watch. She said, OK, what specifications do you require, sir? And it was all sir and please and thank you. I like that. Don't you like that when you go into a shop? To be treated with a bit of respect. After all, you're about to hand over your money. And we've talked about this so many times on the show. You know, the service in a lot of the places now is just completely non-existent. It really is. Anyway, I was already being, yes, sir, no, sir, what do you require? OK, I'd like a battery-operated watch that has about 5 alarms on it. I need 3 alarms, and I need them to go off at the same time every day. Now, I've already been somewhere else, and I told him the story. I've tried 2 watches. OK, sir, it might take me a little bit of time to find what you want. If you could bear with me, just come over here with me, and I'll see what we've got. So I walked over the other side of the shop, and he opened this case thing, you know, the whatever you call it. Oh, I've got a phone call. Just a minute. Let me turn this off. There we are. That can take that. We don't interrupt. What's the time? We don't have our program interrupted. And I get fed up with the program being interrupted by people. So he was in the little glass, you know, where the shop front is. He opened the doors there and had a look to see what was in there. And he must have been in there about 5 minutes while I was standing there. And every now and again, his head would come back out and say, sorry, sir, it's taken a little bit longer. I'll find what you want, though. OK. So eventually he came back with 3 watches. And we looked at these watches and decided on 2, actually, 2 out of the 3, which I found quite nice. One was £49, which is actually this one. And the other one was £120. Now, I have to say, I did like the look of the £120 one. So he got this and he started pushing the buttons. He says, I'll have to just work out how it works. And actually, he did. Yeah, it's always handy to have a young lad who obviously knows his technology. And he was very well spoken, really knew how to treat me as a customer. And he's pushing the buttons. He just said, sorry, sir, it just take me a little while to work out how this one works. And indeed, as he was hitting the buttons, one came up. Daily alarm 1, daily alarm 2. What it turns out is this is a multi-function alarm. So you can select whether the alarm goes off once or once a day, or once a day during the week and not on the weekends, or just at the weekends. So that's fantastic. So I said, that's great. He said, all right, I'll just get the instruction book for this one, and we'll just double check to see that everything's there that you need. I said, okay. I said, can you show me the more expensive one as well? Now, the more expensive one was solar powered, and it was automatic setting. It picks up its radio. It picks up a radio signal from somewhere, and it sets itself. I have clocks in the house like that, but not a watch. one of the other watches from Argos was similar. It was solar powered and it had a little radio thing in that as well. So it was similar to that. He said, okay, I'll go and get that one as well for you. So we got that one and he was playing with that one for quite a long time, and we worked out that it only had daily alarms. He said, I'll tell you what, I'll get the instruction book for both and we can have a look through those. So he's got the instruction book. He didn't give me the instruction book at this point. He flicked through it himself and found the pages. This is in front of me, so he held the book in such a way that I could see what he was doing. Excuse me. And sure enough, in this one, it said that it had a multifunction alarm, and it said you can set any 5 of the alarms to do whatever you want. But in the other one, again, it was a snooze and just 4 one-off alarms. So fantastic. So I ended up buying this one, £49, which was, funnily enough, £30 cheaper than the one from Argos. And it does exactly what I want. I've already had it a few days. I'm very, very pleased with this. This is a battery-operated one, of course. But what service? What service? And I must write a letter to H.Samuel's in Bracknell and thank them, because I think he spent in all about 45 minutes with me in that shop. I mean, fair dues. It was empty. They weren't doing anything else. But nevertheless, he spent 45 minutes selling me a watch and he sold it. Do you see the difference here? Shops. I know some of the younger people watching at the moment may not believe this, but shops were, in the main, all like this at one point. You would have someone bend over backwards to assist you in whatever you were trying to buy. I mean, you really did. And these days are gone. Can we ever get them back? I just hope so. They'll obviously know how to train their staff properly. And it's actually quite nice to have someone talk to you for that long. Quite honestly, I think sometimes some of the girls in the Sainsbury's checkout, when they see me coming, they quickly go to tea because they know they're going to be stuck on the till for at least half an hour while I rabbit away. So there we are, new gadgets. Very pleased with that. Yes. Email address, Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Welcome along, okay? Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Right, let's do some emails. First of all, we've got the other part of that email from Jeffrey, who's in New Jersey, USA. Hello, Jeff. Incidentally, when you send an email in, can you put your name and where you are? Because sometimes it does go out of the old head, I'm afraid. My memory is not what it used to be. Midnight, not a sound from the pavement. All I want is my memory. I can't remember the words to that one. What's that other one? Dinah Ross. Memories light the corners of your mind. Misty watercoloured memories of the way we were. We like a bit of a sing-song, don't we? Of the way we were. And Jeff said at the end of the last email, P.S., because we've done the rest of it. Well, did you miss it? Well, you'll have to listen to the last show, won't you? You will. The main website for the show, and you can go right back to any show you want, is unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. And Jeff says, I've been listening to Ross Patzelt's show. Yes, Ross Patzelt. He does a podcast as well, which you can find at Ross Patzelt, ROSSPATZELT.co.uk. rosspatzelt.co.uk. He says, been listening to Ross Patzelt's show. Boy, can he rabbit on. Oh, I know what you mean, Jeff. I know exactly what you mean. It's annoying, isn't it? I can't stand people that just go on and on all day long about nothing. What's all that about, eh? They rabbit on and on and on, sometimes for an hour at a time. Oh, it gets me, it really does. Jeffrey says, can you please give him some pointers on how to call someone on Skype? When he is talking to someone, there is a real bad echo on his end, and the caller sounds fine. Well, actually, I don't think that's anything to do with the equipment, to be honest, Jeffrey. It's his mouth. And when he opens his mouth, everything around it, any noise around him, echoes back. Like, echo, 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 echo. It's a bit like talking in the Channel Tunnel, I think. When you... when you're hearing Ross speak. He said, send him a text, but I don't think... He says, I sent him a text, but I don't think he got it. Besides, when you were on with him, it makes his show funnier. Don't tell him I told him so. Thank you, Jeff. No, don't worry, Jeff. As always, secrets are safe with me. Just a minute. Get me bin. Your secret is safe with me. I won't say a word to Ross as long as you don't. As far as the Skype thing goes, yes, I actually heard the show that you're talking about, and I don't know what. I can only assume he didn't realise it was happening. You see, the trouble is if you're doing a chat with someone and it goes a bit wrong on the Skype and you don't realise at the time, it's a bit difficult to redo that. You know, to kind of go back over it and perhaps create the right atmosphere. I have twice, okay, since I've been doing this in October 2005, it's only happened to me twice that I've had to redo the entire show because something went wrong. That will probably not happen again because, of course, I record the audio on one computer and audio and video on another computer. So the audio part of the show, which, let's face it, is the most important part, is now recorded in two separate places. And in front of me, do you want to have a look at... Let me have a look. I don't know, Jeff, if you watch or just listen. I'll just move the camera. But in front of me there, okay, as I talk, you can see a meter going up and down on that computer, right? There's the lighting there. Believe it or not, that... See that parlour seat? There's a parlour seat that is in front of me where the camera sits on. Well, what did you think I had in here anyway, eh? It's all very makeshift, isn't it? So that's the meter. See that meter? It goes up and down and tells me basically that the music is going into the computer or the sound. And I have another computer here with a similar thing. And that one also has a meter, but it's a different meter. And again, that tells me the sound that's going in here. Okay, the sound's going in all right. And also, just above the meter is a timer, which at the moment reads 32 minutes and 21 seconds. And that tells me how long the show has been so far, so that I can get to my 57 minutes, isn't it? We do a 57-minute show. So anyway, a little tour of the studio here. As I say, moving it around, decorating it, and that's why there's nothing on the wall. It's going to look a little bit, shall we say, rough here in the Mirable Studios over the next few days. I've also moved the microphone slightly because the arm of the microphone was getting in the way. I think possibly when I move the studio around, I might just get one of those little microphone stands that sits in front of me, and then you probably won't even be able to see the microphone. Okay, nice to hear from you, Mr. Jeff in Jersey Jeff. All right. And here he is, yes, it's the man from Iceland, from the King of the Elves. It's Robert in Iceland. Hello, Robert. Have you sent our money back yet, incidentally? We are desperate. The Bank of England apparently are sending out more money to everyone. You know, you and me won't see it. It'll be those greedy banks and the people at the top that keep it. This is the thing. The government keeps dishing out all this money, but I'm not seeing anything new coming through, dear. God's sake. I've just had to spend out a load. Did I tell you I spent a load of money on having one of my flats double glazed because there was a bit of a condensation problem, and it's finished. It's already done. I thought they'd done that a bit quick, but I went round there. I've only looked at the outside so far because I haven't got a tenant in there at the moment, and it's actually looking really good. Really good, that is. £3,000. I think that's pretty good to double glaze a one-bedroom flat, don't you? £3,000. It's nice to know, because actually, I'm not a typical landlord, believe it or not. When something goes wrong, I want that fixed for that tenant as quickly as possible. Because the last thing you want, at the end of the day, is someone to move out, because that costs you money. Always costs money when someone moves out. But not only that, I know you'll find it's hard to believe, boys and girls, but I do have morals. I don't want people to be comfortable. If they're going to rent something from me, I want them to be comfortable. It's called customer services, isn't it? It is. I'd be good. I should run a chain of supermarkets or a department store. That's the thing, going back to the service, isn't it? You seem to get good service in department stores. Why can't the chains do it? Why is that? Why is it you can go to John Lewis or Peter Jones or Bentor's or Harrods, Selfridges, and your service is really good? Go to a chain shop, and I don't even need to mention any of them, and it's just diabolical. It's awful. They couldn't care less whether you bought it or not. So I don't. End of story. Look at that business with Jessop's. I mentioned the other week about the video camera. Wouldn't take it out of the box. How stupid is that? So didn't sell it. Fine, if you can afford to lose 150 quid, fine. Hello to Robert then. Dear Chris and friends of the United Kingdom talk show. I am minded of summer days with gentle breezes blowing against one's face and the sun warming old bones. Oh, I like that, don't you? We've had a few really nice days here at the moment in the UK. The sun's been out, it's lovely and warm. I know what you mean. These are the thoughts that flood the mind when the winter hangs on with determination. Well, we have had winter here. We've had a few cold weeks, but I wouldn't say we've had a long cold winter. It's certainly warmed up now. It's not too bad at all at the moment. This year has been like the previous year, a return to winters of old. I don't think it's been like that here. I mean, you must have seen the snow that we had, but how long was that? 3 days? For God's sake, you can't moan if that's all you get, 3 days of snow. However, I would caution those that would have us believe that global warming is not happening. From my researchers, I have found that we have entered a 10-year period of hard winters. But this will not last, and we need to take heed of this time and act. The recent problems with the car industry worldwide must be seen as an opportunity to turn around from pouring filth into the world. It can and must be done. Yeah, I agree. Who's that guy in America? Barack Obama. Didn't he say he was going to pour a load of money into renewable energies? I don't know why they don't do that here. All these people unemployed, right? Couldn't they be put to work installing solar turbines? No, not wind turbines and solar panels on people's houses? Surely that would be better for the government to fund projects like that, perhaps offsetting the total cost of the materials to the householder. Say, for example, I've got the solar panels. I did that, but it was expensive. At the time, I had the money. I haven't now, but I did then, so I had it done. But what about people who would love to have solar panels up on their roof, generating free, clean electricity around the year? Okay, so you don't get as much in winter as you get in summer, but surely every little helps, doesn't it? Surely, wouldn't it be a better idea that instead of chucking all this money at governments and reducing our mortgage fees and doing this, that and the other, with all these people out of work, surely it would be a good idea to perhaps heavily subsidise solar panel installation to households. So anyone's got a bit of saving. And you've got to convince people as well, I find. People are always asking me, oh, you can't save that much. Well, actually, I do. I save quite a lot of money, especially in comparison to my neighbours. My electricity is... just a minute. I've got it written here, actually. It's in front of me here. Let me see. My electricity. I pay £16, £16 per month on a 3-bedroomed house. My neighbour pays £75 a month. Okay, so it's a huge difference. I'm not even south-facing. But why doesn't the government, instead of chucking this money at the banks who are not doing what they're supposed to be doing with it, they could heavily subsidise solar panel installation to households, and you'd kill 2 birds with 1 stone there. I've no doubt it's not as simple as this, but you could then employ all these people who are losing their jobs to install solar panels on people's houses that can't afford to pay the full whack. Sounds like a good idea to me. And of course, when the economy turns round again, we won't use as much electricity. So surely that's winning all the way around, isn't it? Robert says, on the subject of flying, I would like to add my praise to a fine landing carried out by the crew of the plane that splashed down a few weeks ago in the Hudson River. Yeah, absolutely. You see, pilots are worth their weight in gold, aren't they? It goes to show just how strong these planes are, for it was also an Airbus that still holds the record for a glided flight of 15 miles. 15 miles! Probably the, what was that? He says here, in that case, the plane ran out of fuel and glided that distance to Tenerife and landed without incident. Pilots are worth their weight in gold, I tell you. I know by virtue of having sat in the pilot seat that these planes are so well designed. I know that some people think you do not need pilots in this day and age, but I'm pretty sure that the people on that flight were glad they had a crew. Well, you've got to have a pilot, haven't you? You've absolutely got to have a pilot in case something goes wrong. As indeed it did. There is a saying that modern planes need just a dog and some biscuits. This gives the pilot something to do, so he feeds the dog, and the dog makes sure he does not touch any of the controls. We know that every plane needs a pilot. There are some parts of the world now, indeed, that have trains. I remember being on the monorail in Sydney. And there, this little monorail train type thing is going around the city. There's no driver. It's all automatic. And it's a bit surreal sitting on there on this completely automated system with no one at the front. It's a weird thing. It's probably got one where you are as well. I don't know if we have anything like that here in the UK. We have trams and trains, but I don't think we have any driverless ones yet. And now to the subject of my guests who live under the stairs. Yes, Robert, right? If you're new to the show, you won't know this, but Robert is insistent that he has elves living under his stairs. I know to some I might appear mad, and yet, am I right in thinking that you have given the banks lots of money, and yet did I not hear that they then paid their bosses bonuses? Is this correct? Rather puts my guys into perspective, does it not? Yes, it does. There's a lot of mistrust of the banks now, I'm afraid, certainly here in the UK and probably across the world. I wonder what people are doing with their money. Are they literally stuffing it under their mattresses? It's a bit worrying, that, isn't it? I've always been reasonably happy with my bank. It's not the same one as I started out with, but I actually bank with a building society, and I've always found the service pretty good in there. Unless, of course, you go in there on a Saturday morning. I had the experience of going into my local one. Was it two Saturdays ago? I got there about 11:30 in the morning just to pay some money in for my wages from my DJing, and I've never seen a queue so long. And I said to the girl, I said, "Is it always like this on a Saturday?" She said, "No, it's the last one of the month." She said, "It's always like this on the last one of the month." I thought, it's awful. They must have been in that queue for at least half hour, 45 minutes. Madness. You want to go to a bank during the weekday? Go get a weekday morning, sort of between, I don't know, 10:30 and 12 o'clock. Don't go between 12 and 2, because all the lunch people are out then, aren't they? Robert says, Leo, my Viking brother. As you may know, Leo and I have become firm friends. Leo is in Norway, incidentally, another regular listener to the show. Hello, Leo. And it was with joy that I received from him some goat's cheese. Oh, God. I don't know what it is, but I don't like the sound of goat's cheese and goat's milk. I don't know why. Just me. I took it right away. It has a taste that I can well recommend. So I would thank Leo for introducing me to this fine food. Oh, I don't think I'll be trying the goat's cheese. So thank you, Leo. It's nice of you to send someone a gift like that, isn't it? Robert continues, Iceland is the land of fire and ice, sitting as we do on a crack in the earth that separates Europe and America. The crack or ridge really causes these two huge areas to be forced apart, Europe and America. Indeed, Iceland is in a constant state of growth. Well, it's a shame that your economy's not like that, isn't it? And into this wild and stormy land that shapes are given form. Some are trolls. And here we go. Here he goes again. He's going on about his elves again. I mean, don't make fun of this man, okay? Just go with it. He has all these elves and God knows what else he can see. And into this wild and stormy land that shapes are given form. Some are trolls, and some are the hidden peoples that live in the shadows. Folktales give of a time when on one of God's frequent visits to Adam and Eve. Poor Eve would do her best to ensure that all of her children had been washed and made presentable for God's visit. That's why I always like to dress up for the show. You never know when he's going to arrive, you know. And how will he get here? Will he just appear in thin air? Will he come on a spaceship? Will he come on a train? My God, he might even arrive in a Toyota Aygo as I drive around in. Alas, Eve did not have time to get them all washed and made ready. God came to them and asked 3 times if this was all of Eve's children. She replied that it was so. Of course, God knew better, and in anger said that the children had been hidden from him, then they would have to be hidden from everyone else. Hence, we have the elves. It would take a brave soul that would deny their existence when walking the highlands of this world. I love listening to folk tales, and this is a land that has many. The folk tale of God and how he came to create the elves has been told in many countries with changes imposed to fit the culture of the land. But it is fun, is it not, to share a tale or two of those that live in the corners of the house or indeed under the stairs. Those that inhabit a world that sleep takes us away from, and with the waking, we... I'll do that bit again. Those that inhabit a world that sleep takes us away from, and with the waking, we take the ownership once again from those, the hidden ones. And that's indeed from Robert the Viking. Yes. Do say hello to those elves from me. If there's anything I can do to assist them, maybe a couple of extra prayers to our Lord above, then I'll be happy to do that. Okay? Now, talking of prayers, I know some of you have been saying a couple of prayers for our dear friend's mum, Jo, from AmericanTalkUSA.com. Hello, this is Joel Morris. Welcome to AmericanTalkUSA.com. On the show today, Brenda will be talking about her nourishment things and all that. Anyway, if you've been following the show, then you know Jo's mum has not been well at all. Well, she had some... what is it called now? Some treatment which unfortunately she didn't respond to, so she had to have go into hospital and have a bit of surgery. And apparently, Jo did send me a little note the other day, and apparently the surgery went quite well, and whatever had to be done was done, and she's responded quite well. So fingers crossed. Not out of the woods yet though, eh, Jo? So more prayers. Her name is Christine. Okay, Christine is Jo's mum. Still needs our prayers, so keep it going. And that's the news there, okay? I did mention on the last show... Oh, I haven't given the address, did I? We're going to give the postal address. Okay, here comes the postal address, boys and girls. If you want to put pen to paper. And what did I say to send... if you wanted to send something in earlier? What was that now? I can't remember. I did suggest if you had... Oh, a school... I'm after a school badge for here. That's what I need, a school badge for here. I know what I'll do. If anyone's got one, if anyone's got a spare one, then I can put Velcro on it, can't I, and do it like that. Well, I could change it. If more than one I could change it. That's what I'll do. I'll put a bit of Velcro on the jacket, because you can just iron the... Can you iron on Velcro? I'm sure you can. And that'd be that, yeah. If you want to send your school... If you've got a spare school badge or anything like that, then send it to Chris Reardon, United Kingdom Talk, P.O. Box 4073. Bracknell, Bracknell, RG42 9ED, United Kingdom. Once again, that address, Chris Reardon, United Kingdom Talk, P.O. Box 4073, Bracknell, Bracknell, RG42 9ED, United Kingdom. Okay? Anything else there? Send it through. Nice little card. If you go on holiday, you want to send a card in, feel free. Put it in there. Also, I did mention on the last show, if you've never seen the show, if you're listening to this show on radio and you'd quite like to see it, but you haven't got internet, I'm quite happy to put a DVD of a couple of the shows in the post to you. If you want one of those, either write in or indeed use the email chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Tell me that you'd like a DVD and I'll put a couple of the shows on the DVD and send them to you, okay? All right, no charge, you know me, dear. Mr Freebie, that's it. Incidentally, if you're wondering who wrote the letter there, that's Matty, the Tasmanian Devil, who wrote that, okay, with the address on it. Matty also wants to write, what is T-Mobile, he says. Have you got a website of what it looks like? T-Mobile is one of the telephone companies here in the UK. We have the main ones are Orange, T-Mobile, Vodafone and O2. They're the big, really good main ones. There is another couple. There's smaller ones. Virgin mobile phone, I think. And what's the other one? 3. But you know, you get what you pay for. That's all I'm saying. You get what you pay for, and 3 is by far the cheapest. And I'm afraid that goes for their service as well. It's diabolical, absolutely diabolical. I had phone from them years ago now, and it never worked. It didn't work that well. I'm going back now some years, so I would imagine that the technical side of it has vastly improved now, I would guess. But nevertheless, they were by far the cheapest of all the networks. So I got a phone with them, but it's when it went wrong I've run into problems. It was just a nightmare trying to deal with anyone. It really was an absolute nightmare, and I came away from them in the end. And since then, talking to other people, James Dean, of course, from the Matinee Show. That's matineeshow.co.uk. All right, matineeshow.co.uk. He has a 3 phone, and he had terrible trouble with them. Only just a few weeks ago, as I say. It was fine while it was working. As soon as something gone wrong, the customer service is diabolical. Absolutely diabolical. And then when you say, well, I don't want it anymore, they start throwing it, oh, but you've signed a contract and all that crap. Oh, it does annoy me. It really does. So there we are. T-Mobile, Matty, for your information, is a mobile phone company, all right? Matty says, I've got a stick that I can put in my laptop and it sticks out like a USB thing. It has a SIM card in it and I think a special antenna just like a mobile phone, and that's how he gets his gateway to the broadband internet. Yeah, I've got one of those as well. Mine isn't... I have a dongle, which is... It's a bit like, it does plug into the USB thing, but it's not a stick. It's like a It's like a plug that you plug into the USB socket on your laptop. There's a little bit of wire, and then like an oblong little thing, which isn't very big. I suppose it's the size of probably the size of that little card. I don't know, about 3 inches by 2 inches, and that gives me mobile broadband internet, which I find works in some places better than others, just like a mobile phone really. But it's quite good, Matty. So yeah, that's my thing. Matthew also writes, Matty's in Tasmania, Australia, incidentally, one of our regular writers, aren't you, my friend? It's so sad here in Australia a few weeks ago when we had the fires on mainland Australia. Yes, a lot of beautiful stuff destroyed there, wasn't it? The authorities believed someone actually did it. Yes, I know, and they caught some of them as well, didn't they? He says it's very worrying and scary. Lots of lives lost. and lots of houses and bushland burnt out. I don't understand why someone would want to do that. And we find them all over the world. We have them here in England, people that start fires deliberately. And why do they do that? And I suppose some of the time it's done by people who were stupid to think that actually flicking a lighted cigarette end out of a window or as you're walking along through grassland, why do they think that it will just go out? It's just unbelievable. So sometimes it's not done purposely, but sometimes it is. When you flick, and you see it all the time, they just flick the cigarette out like that, throw it out. Now, I did smoke. It's a long time ago now, I would say. 15 years ago, I used to smoke 40 cigarettes a day. I gave up because I couldn't go upstairs. Now I'm fine now, 15 years ago, best thing I ever did is go up smoking. But then, even then, if you dropped a cigarette on the floor, you would then stamp on it and twist your foot to make sure it goes out. People don't seem to do that now. I wonder why that is. Matty says, I think it's also because the undergrowth that to keep a fire from burning still needs fuel of the fires. That should do something that the government should do. What, to cut back all the undergrowth? Oh, they'd never get round to it. That's a huge job. No, I mean, you've got to teach the people not to be so blooming stupid half the time. That's what it is. Anyway, time to go, boys and girls. Some more emails on the next show. Don't forget, if you want to join in, it's Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I'll see you on the next show. Thanks for listening and watching. Bye-bye.